We were on mute. I caught it quickly this time. Hi, guys. Spanner's here. Check me out. I'm in a much more relaxed position with a lounge shirt on. We've got a news show coming up, but if you want to skip this preview, because we always have a little bit of a chat. My goodness, we've got to wake Jono up, if nothing else. He's been up since 4 a.m. UK time. So our clocks, I think, went forward. His clocks went back. So it's now 2 hours earlier for him for evening. Hello, EJ. He's saying everything is okay. What, like in your life in general? Steve says he has vision and audio, so that's good. I think this position that I'm in might be too relaxed. But if you don't want to see the pre-show, then make sure that you go to the description in the YouTube down there, and there's a blue number. Click on that, and you will be transported to the start of the show. Mark says that's a very nice shirt. Thank you. This was my most expensive purchase for my Miami shop. You see, so when I go for these trips, when we do the NASCAR stuff or Miami, it's not laying right. I'll get it. I have to go shopping every time because I don't have any other reason to be well dressed, and I'm trying to represent myself. I'll be in the paddock this year, so first time actually as with accreditation in the paddock. So I'll be in there. We'll be in the media pen, and I want to look, Miami casual. I want to look like the kind of person that gets dressed deliberately and doesn't just wear like the cheapest thing they found at Mountain Warehouse. My general look is utility. I have utility look. So there is a little bit of pressure when we're going to be on video. I'm going to be interviewing, by the way, first time ever. I'm not going to say who, but I believe I will be interviewing an F1 driver, a current F1 driver, for the first time ever. So that'll be cool. And there's like a bunch of media stuff that I'm involved in, which is cool. So I do need to look just like someone who gets dressed deliberately on the stream. I need to just not be wearing the shirt I got from a t-shirt cannon, which is one of my favorite t-shirts for years, was one that my wife got from a t-shirt cannon, this yellow thing with a band name on it, and I didn't know who they were. So every single time that I have these trips and I go and try and buy shirts, I am a different body shape and size to the last time I went, because my weight varies wildly over like a stone and a half. So I've got about a 20-pound range that I go in between. And if you look at my wardrobe, you can tell because I tend to put all newly washed and laundered things on the left-hand side of my wardrobe. So if I have lost weight recently, you will see larger items of clothes go further and further to the right. So it's always an adventure when I go shopping like this to try and get something. And I always just tell the shop attendant, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. There is no other reason for me to buy nice clothes. I am a dad of teenagers, and I've been married a long time. No one cares what I look like. Please, 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 please help. And actually, they're normally very good at doing that kind of thing. So yes, this shirt is one of those. I have an identical blue one. So I'm just going to hope that no one will notice and go, isn't that the same shirt but blue? I don't know. I don't know how much of a faux pas that is. I guess I'll need a young person to tell me, hello, Jono, you're young.
Hello.
You can tell me things about fashion.
I think that shirt looks swagger.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I think it's a good pick for Miami.
Don't tell anyone that I'm not wearing like proper pants. I'm in PE.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, we do have a pact for this podcast. You're not allowed to get up from the waist up. Yes, you're supposed to stay waist down.
I do like
covered.
I do like occasionally to like jump up and stretch and stuff, but I always make sure that I'm off stream. I'm off camera when I do that.
I will confirm that does occur when we do Missed Apex podcast.
So if you ever see me distracted, it's because I'm like doing my lunges and just stretching in my chair.
Anytime Matt and I get something wrong in a discussion, hello Matt, welcome.
Oh, Matt's here.
And
hey Matt.
There you go. I'll be talking to Matt and say, Pirelli brought C1, C2, C7, and when I say something like that, it's because I'm watching Spanners jump up and stretch and do his star jumps.
Yeah, and in my head, I've got the Beetlejuice, songs going on in my head, so I'm like, shake, 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 maneuver, shake your body right, and I'm just doing that. Oh well, I went shopping, and I also have on standby people like willing volunteers. So there's some ladies at the club I frequent, and they know I have no fashion sense. So I'll just say, is it okay if I bombard you with photos on Tuesday afternoon? And they're like, okay. So they have like a committee where I take a selfie in the changing rooms, clothed, and then they rain their judgment upon the outfits. And so
nice.
I should show the shirt, Matt, that I got, and
yeah,
one of the ladies said, "Hey, if you want to get hit on by men, that is fine. Like, no judgment here, but that shirt will facilitate that." I went, "Okay." I bought the shirt.
Good information to have.
I bought it.
Yeah,
I bought it.
Yeah.
I own that shirt now. Don't tease me with a good time.
Are we allowed to know which F1 driver you're talking to yet?
No, I'm not gonna say that. No,
but you know,
I know which 2 F1 drivers I'll be talking to.
Oh, 2.
I know the team. Yeah, I'm hearing my own voice back, by the way, in case anyone's just changed the setting.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, it's fun, and it's 2 F1 drivers that I like as well, which is cool. Because I mean,
that's nice.
Who could easily have gone wrong? I mean, I'm sure they're all lovely people, but I like Alonso. I think Alonso seems like a lovely person, but my fan thing means, you know, I'll often find myself on the non-Alonso side of debates.
Yeah. Alonso, who's alienated everybody he's ever known in the F1 paddock his entire life. Yes, very nice person.
But it's like, I want to know, but I want to know. Like, that's professional, because he's got an alpha mentality. He's like, he's not compromising in any way. And over time, that seems to have seen him moving around teams a lot. I would love to know, like, the full story behind all those things. Like, it feels like he loses the paddock and he loses the garage, doesn't it? Over the course of his tenure with the team.
Yeah.
But
he's done it at every team so far.
I'd love to just know, like, if you were in a team with Alonso, how did the relationships fall apart? Because I think he's fallen out with just about every teammate. Maybe not Raikkonen. Raikkonen was a fairly compliant teammate, but it would be very hard to fall out with Raikkonen, I imagine. You'd have to be going some.
That's like the guy at school you always, like, I mean, Matt, it's been a while since we've both been at school, of course, but it's like the guy at school who, if you don't get along with Raikkonen, you're the problem. You know, have you met those people in your life? You know, the chill guys, like anybody who doesn't get along with Kimi, like you are at fault. You can't blame anyone but yourself.
That's like a lowest common denominator. If you can't get along with Kimi, I mean, just like you're just not getting along. You're living by yourself in a large pile of things that you should have thrown out years ago, but didn't.
Yeah, Matt, that's a little too close to the bone. Can you come down half?
Sorry.
A fader to match Jono's. Nothing. It's no issue on your end.
Yes, I can do that.
Yes, on the crew, on the Missed Apex crew, who would you say that is? So I would say it's got to be Catman, isn't it?
That's a good point.
I would agree. Catman would be the Kimi of this podcast.
Jono, we need
just
Steve's
along with everybody.
Steve, Jono says
I saw that.
Yeah, it's fine. Come up a bit. We're having an issue with some background noise with Jono, but I don't think it's coming across on the stream because YouTube has another layer of filters and noise stuff. That's fine. And I'll have to just take it out when it comes to the audio things. As long as we can hear Jono loud and clear, that's all we need.
You will. It frustrates me. I almost had an Alonso radio drama before the pod. I was losing my cool. I was. We were trying to adjust the audio. But I was telling you, I didn't change anything for 12 months. And this is what everyone listening...
You're just walking the same path as me. I get you, man. The computers update, settings get changed you're not aware of. It happens.
Oh, we have evidence. Steve says we can't hear any background noise.
No.
We're sorted for the podcast.
So
we are done.
That's fine. I will have to adjust that at my end. So if YouTube... No, because YouTube, I have an extra noise filter on there. I also have an extra compressor to try and make us more level. And then after the fact, on the audio, I take the individual lines from everybody and clean them up and add the correct compression and everything. So I'm hoping that when you listen to the audio version, everything just feels like super comfortable, super clean, and everyone's the same perceived amplitude. Because a lot of producers, I'm hearing myself back again, Jono.
How is that happening
I don't
right
know.
now? Wait, okay. So if I mute, can you hear yourself back?
Hello, Figaro. No. It's when you're unmuted. So you just got to be... Yeah. So now I can hear myself back.
What kind of headphones you got run on? Are they open back or not fully sealed?
Is there any chance they're just too high, that your monitoring volume is too high? Anyway.
I'll turn them down.
So a lot of producers will just go, right, Jono, this amplitude. Matt, this amplitude, it's not the same because some people have different voices. So, for example, when we have Brad and Antonia and Catman on, they have less timbre, less lower register. And so you have to have a higher audio amplitude to make it sound the same and comfortable. So I take a lot of pride in that afterwards. With YouTube, because you've got the visual element, it's okay. You can get away with more and it's more forgiving because people are like looking at you. When it's audio only, you need it to be all like a level and
it's got to be pretty close.
Yeah. Audiobook standard.
All I'm hearing is, and this is for everybody listening as well, is Spanners just said, I make myself sound better than everybody else, and I make everybody else sound worse. That's all I heard.
Look, it actually upsets me how good Matt's general kind of voice comes across. Obviously, we've got the issue with the background noise because he's using the wrong tool for the wrong job. That's why you hear ambulances. And I swear to God, Matt,
there is no microphone you could put into this and hear my voice and not hear those ambulances. They are so close. You know where you park? You know where you park your camper?
Yeah.
That's where the ambulance is.
Right, okay, fair enough.
There's no not hearing it no matter what I'm doing.
Well, I was talking to you guys pre-pod about how there was like a police helicopter above my house like 5-10 minutes ago. Now, I don't know what's happening in the world right now, but stop committing crimes is my, what do you call it?
Tell you
PSA.
what, Jono, have you got one of those local Facebook groups? There'll be someone in there going, there was a police helicopter? Does anyone know what that is? Yeah, 4 a.m.
Well,
we had to. Yeah, we had. Go on.
You know what's funny with that is I had to do a news story a couple of weeks ago. I don't know why I'm on crime stories. Like, it's funny as, right? Like, I do Formula 1
You're a sports reporter, though, aren't you?
Well,
dude, man, you'd be way more popular. Can I tell you, the true crime podcast genre is banging.
Yep, huge.
Yeah, I could capture a very brand new audience, but I love when the police send us their, like, air wing, you know, with the heat-censored cameras, the infrared, and you see somebody hiding in a bush, then you watch these police dogs. I love those air wing vision things. I got to say, Steve's saying quickly, my audio is still
no,
low.
Don't worry about it. Don't do anything. Matt, you come down. I've turned up the overall volume of the call.
Okay, how much more do I need to come down?
Bit more, like 2. I don't know.
Matt, is that better or even more?
No, more.
The ambulance can't crash into your podcast room, can they, Matt?
There? That good?
No, you've got louder, if anything. I don't know. No, you're going to have to come down quite a lot. Come down quite a lot. This is not your issue. This is to match, John.
No. I understand. I'm looking at the gain, and I've come down quite a bit.
No, just physically move the fader down like 2 notches.
You're not hearing anything?
No, okay. There's no change.
Wow.
There we go.
All right then.
We're in the right ballpark.
Good news.
There we go.
Spanners, you won't be able to hear yourself back because I realized my volume was at 100% in my ears. I think I'm getting old. That's really bad.
Yep, there we go. Spanners knows, so don't argue with Uncle Spanners. But anyway, this is the best it's going to get at the moment. I've put the compressor on to try and match them. So we were talking. Something briefly came up about food. There has been a lot of food controversy in the live stream after Antonia's last appearance. So even her cookie recipe, which was very popular and lots of people got and did. There was people slating the cookie recipe that had tried it and saying the proportions were wrong, but the taste was good. My tacos got so much heat from Americans and Mexicans when I describe. All I'm going to say is you guys, you no longer as a group have access to my tacos. I will not be making tacos for any of you guys, but I promise you they were lit. Like, did I mention that I got the taco perfectly, the exact right amount of crisp? So it's a soft taco shell, but we are frying that soft taco shell at the end of the process. And we are no one asked me, Spanners, that sounds bad. No one said, what spice combination do you use? You don't know that I didn't nail it. I did nail it. They were great tacos. Oh, sorry, tacos.
Tacos, exactly. Yeah. Tacos is no. You forgot to add one instruction, Spanners, and it was make with passion and love. And that is an important ingredient to every recipe out there. And, if you don't do that, what's the point of eating it? So I think everybody out there, give Spanner's taco recipe another try and make it with some passion and love. And I remember sending that once I got some Uber Eats once, and I was bored and told the restaurant, look, could you please make this with as much passion and love as possible? And they sent me the bag, and it said, to Jonathan, with passion and love, regards.
But that's the plot of a movie, isn't it? There was that movie on an island with the lady with the alien face.
James Bond?
No, something Taylor-Joy. Anna Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah. Very good actress. Very attractive
Great,
also.
yeah.
But she's just got like an otherworldly face.
Right. Yeah. Elf face.
Do you know the best thing she's ever done is there's a zombie TV series. I've forgotten the name of it, but she was in a really good 2 seasons of it, and they dropped it. I think one of the best zombie TV series I've ever seen. I'll look it up in a bit. Anyway, I had other things to say. I was going to talk about my adventures yesterday.
I had loads of people come to my concert on Thursday. Thank you for that.
I think we're out of time. This is the best I think I can do with Jono's volume. I've done my best. One last thing.
I can turn myself up. No. Speak louder.
I think we're okay. Give me a purple burglar alarm.
Purple burglar alarm. I'll talk this.
That's what we do. And Matt, do the same.
I shall do exactly the same. Purple burglar alarm.
You could calm down another like half on the fader, on the physical fader, and I think we go into the show. Oh, by the way, could you hear during the intro? Could you hear this?
Yes, we could.
And that, I can hear that.
And that.
Yes.
And that.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
all right,
can
cool.
hear all the things.
Let's do it. Right, we're gonna do a news show, which is fine. I trust the lads that they've. I've been trying to keep up with the news, but just as F1 kind of falls away from the, it's falling away, isn't it? It's not like in the news headlines. It's not relevant. But anyway, at the moment, it just isn't. Killer. And then that has really hurt us with Miami. But I will get more into that in a minute. I am having another issue. Hooray!
Well.
My blinking, I can't record.
Oh no, what happened?
Tell me about your Ska gig, Matt, while I try and just make sure that I've got a door. Audacity won't work for me, and now my mixer is not recording. So,
okay, so I'm going to tell this story. I was contacted by someone in the Discord saying, "Hey, I'm coming to Thursday night." I was like, "Be sure and find me. We'll hang out." And it was V-Shock, whose name I probably butchered, but I took from the Discord. And he and a friend came, but then also someone else just came up and said, "Oh, hey, I'm Ali. Thanks. You love listening to you. I'm not in the Discord, whatever." And then this guy he was Swiss, believe it or not, but he was not like a Sauerbrei boy. Also showed up for the second set along with 2 of my friends. So I had a nice drink with V-Shock, and then we went out to this Irish pub that was full of NYU people, and aside from the fact they actually sold us alcohol, it was rather horrible, but we had a great discussion, very enjoyable. So yeah, thank you for coming out, those of you who did. And if you get a chance next time, because we got a bunch of stuff going on the next couple of months, yeah, come hear me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really enjoyed it.
Nice. I enjoyed hearing about that. I'm glad that I had a problem with my recording system that I have now solved. You are listening to Missed Apex Podcast. We live F1. Welcome to Missed Apex Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Reddy, but my friends call me Spanners. So, let's be friends. There's still no F1, and I'm still a bit done with the rules and regulations chats, but there is some today on what will be a news catch-up show. I have been off social media pretty much because basically everyone now has cabin fever, and every single outlet is doing posts just to start fights, and they keep sucking me in because curse you media. I look at that and I go, no, that's not true. The right arm of the complete F1 driver shouldn't be Michael Schumacher's ability in the wet. And then I'm like, stop. They are doing it deliberately to drive engagement because engagement must be down. This must be a damaging break for Formula One. But we do have some news stories. We'll probably have enough for a couple of news shows as well, to be honest. We also have a definitive plan for Miami. So May 3rd, well, it's the Saturday of the sprint race. We have our same venue secured that we've had for the last 2 years. So because we've not had a chance to promote this on Race Reviews, which is the most listened to shows on Missed Apex, the numbers are a little down. But the venue said, we don't care if it's 20 people or 300 people, but we do just need to know, and we need to know who's coming. So email me at spanners@missedapex.net, subject line Miami, and any blurb, and I'll add you to the list and keep you informed. But it's in North Miami, so it's about 15 minutes Uber from the track, and we will do a sprint and quali review. We will also have a little quiz. We'll have fun. There'll be tequila and pineapple. So we're not charging entry, but maybe just have some cash ready to tip the staff there if you can. So then we also have a live watch along in the week. The last one went down well during the winter. So we are going to be watching Silverstone 2008, a dramatic wet race, which I personally think the FIA should use as its sole defense in the Felipe Massa title claim case. Don't say anything. Don't call any witnesses at all. Just click play on that, fold your arms, and let the judge decide. So we'll do that on Wednesday with Matt and Catman. We are an independent podcast produced in the podcasting shed with the kind support of our patrons, that's you, and partners. We aim to bring you a race review before your Monday morning commute. We might be wrong, but we're first. I'm joined in the shed by Matt Trumpets. Hello, Matt.
I am ready for some wild speculation. It's hilarious because there is no information. All of the stories are just getting more and more and more out there.
Yeah.
We've got one today that we'll talk about later regarding Jeddah. But it's wild to me because if you put the frame on, which is what I do, is you just ask yourself, okay, if I'm hearing about it now, it's because a team or a driver or a brand wants me to know about it. And so what are they trying to get out of it? And you'll just understand all of Formula One journalism at the moment. There's so little real stuff, concrete stuff to report that it is just increasingly, it's almost entertaining, really, for me to follow at this point.
Which gives us freedom because we've had some, I think we've had some really great content over this little enforced break. So we've had our Sunday shows, but you've done now 2 interviews, and I listened to the first one. Yeah, but we've released 2. So I listened to the one from 2 weeks ago with Mark Hughes. No, not that one.
Correct.
So the guy who's really heavily involved in the actual tracks and the design and the setting up of new tracks. Wow. Like, what a guest. What an interview. What a fantastic job. I only fell asleep twice listening to it, but I was, napping off.
That was mostly during my questions, right?
Hey, you asked only like 2 or 3 part questions, which I thought was a massive improvement.
I'm working on it. I really am for the interviews. It really makes a difference.
So let's put that at the top of the show notes so that people can go and make sure they catch up on those interviews, because not everyone catches every show, but I think that is a must listen.
Thank you. Yeah, all 3 of them, which because you're forgetting Scot Elkins.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, let's do all 3 then. I meant specifically during that spring break.
Understood.
I tell you who else has got some non-Spanners interview content coming up, and that is Australian sports reporter Jonathan Simon. Hello, Jono.
How much do we tease that?
Just tell us.
Maybe we should just tease it.
Just tell us everything.
Yes.
Just tell us everything. And
actually,
if it doesn't come across or it's so low quality we can't publish it, we'll just slag you off and we'll just go, yeah, it's Jono. He's young. Like, what do you expect? Young people suck.
Look, I'll just tease and say that we are talking to an active driver in the, well, what type of paddock you would say? In the F1, F2, F3 space.
Yeah.
Is what we are doing here on the Stay
very exciting.
And we're bringing that content exclusively to you, the listener, hopefully sometime in the next week, I assume. And can you believe it? I looked at my calendar as well, Spanners. Miami's actually coming up in like a week and a half. I thought it was like 4 weeks away.
No, it's really close. So the Miami Grand Prix is actually literally in 15 days from our recording now.
Well, have you got your tickets booked is the question. That's the most important part.
So I've got everything except my plane ticket booked. I'm so nervous, but I have to wait on this one critical scheduling logistics thing before I can go ahead and book it. But yeah, Matt and I will definitely be in Miami, and I'm going to be in there for like a week. Miami is... I don't know if it's unique because I haven't been to that many F1 venues, but there is a lot going on in the lead up. So we have got things going on the Wednesday, on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Missed Apex event, and then obviously recording our race reviews on the Sunday. But yeah, Miami is kind of like the Monaco of the American part of the calendar, I think.
Yeah, I'd go with that for sure.
Yeah. It's fun to be there. Matt, you know how I've always objected to Monaco and then, oh, you just have to be there. If you were there, you would understand.
First words out of your mouth at our first Miami show.
Yeah.
You just have to be here.
You just have to be there, guys.
Guys, we had slated the race pretty badly before that.
The haters just need to know they just need to be here. But like, I've literally been invited to a yacht party. So like, I'm gonna be insufferable with the Ringer, which is the show that's on Netflix at the moment with me and Meg Schuster. We're going to be doing a beach stage, like a fan zone thing. So we were going to be like on the beach with the audience that are there, not specifically to see us, but who are there for those festivities. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be vibing. And if anyone says, "Oh, this race is boring," I'm just going to be like, "Ugh, those TV watchers, they don't even know." Actually, I'm genuinely optimistic for this year though, because these regulations that people are complaining about, and we'll talk about who's complaining the most at some point, because George Russell he is just one of the best for releasing statements. And I'm going to have to start with that story now. He is one of the best for releasing statements about, the complaints about this regulation set. But this regulation set might really help a track like Miami, and it might help all the street circuits as well. And so, yes, we have got some stuff to work out. But if in the meantime it delivers an interesting Miami and Monaco, I'll take that as part of the teething process.
Well, yeah, despite all the complaints, if you look at the numbers right now, it's a pretty good year for Formula One. So I think it's
what do you mean by that?
Haters are hating exceptionally loud.
What do you mean by
the rest of everybody else is just having a good time?
What do you mean by that?
This came along with one of our stories talking about the Domenicali interview about the TV numbers. The biggest networks are up 25%. The first 3 races had their largest attendance ever, all sold out.
Attendance figures are up, but Matt, those TV figures, now this is where it becomes controversial. What source do you trust? Because I've seen some sources say that the figures are down, and some sources say that they're records again. And is it one of those sources that goes, "Oh, we hate the rules, we don't like it, we want things to change, so we're going to publish numbers that say that viewership's down"? And then there's other people backing the sport from inside the paddock. Like if you say, "I got these figures from inside the paddock," what do you think they're going to say? "Oh, our numbers are down and everything's terrible and the sport's suffering." No.
All of the Dutch outlets are like, "Nobody's watching F1. F1's trash. F1's dead."
Well, that particular statistic is a pretty vague one. Up in biggest markets, 25%. So I'm not sure how they're defining biggest markets, but it is from a legit publication. So however they have defined it, that number would be broadly speaking correct. So what you might take from that is the biggest watchers of Formula One are watching more of it. Because let's face it, if you are not a rules junkie, you don't really, all you see is all the action happening and cars catching on fire, people getting smashed into walls, and you don't really care about the rest of it. It's just exciting to watch. And there's been some really, I know people, even Summers looks at me cross-eyed, but there has been some really good racing, period, end of, not affected by these rules at all, that I've enjoyed as well.
Completely agree. But do you both think that viewership, or at least these 2, not cancelled races, but the 2 Middle Eastern races that aren't happening, is that going to hurt the sport?
Yes.
This massive 1 month break.
Yeah, it's hurt us. It's hurt our bottom line.
Different question, but will it hurt the sport? No, I think the stuff that's hurting the sport right now has nothing to do with skipping the races. It's got to do with bigger issues like the lack of air freight capacity, like the cost of a barrel of oil and sea freight cost. That is taking a toll.
Yeah.
But it will impact the bottom line. Again, you're bringing up something I did research for, and I love you for that. Thank you. The cost, according to Automotor und Sport, is about what was it? I got to go look at the number, but the total amount that promoters are bringing per season is around 700 million. And they're losing a decent chunk of that because these are some of the promoters that have paid the highest to have these races there. And if they don't run them, not only will Formula One lose that fee, but part of that fee, half of that money goes to the team. So the teams will be losing payout money as well at the end of the season while they're paying higher costs to move stuff around, and they're not really getting a break on paying their personnel during this time off either. So yeah, it is a bit of a pinch point, I would say. But in terms of brands, if we're just talking about the sport and the drama, no, they're loving it because people are talking about it all the time.
I mean, there will be some kind of clauses or insurance that cover stuff like this. And so, yeah, some contracts, though, won't have to be honored. If you were buying a big sponsorship deal for Saudi, you're not going to have to still pay that, even though there's no Saudi Grand Prix. Tim says in our Patreon chat, patreon.com/Missed Apex, that it's rage watching. So but, you know, some people do that. Like in movies, you call it, sorry, kids, you call it shit watching, don't you say? Right, we're just going to watch this movie. I've heard it's terrible. But then there are rules where you can now talk over this movie. It's okay. Whereas if it's a movie I desperately want to see, you better only talk during action sequences, not through any dialogue.
That's like the Fast and the Furious. Every single movie I watch in that series is a rage watch because it's so bad, it's so good.
Avatar.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Avatar series for me.
Interesting.
Terrible. Absolutely
either of
terrible.
you seen Mystery Science Theater 3000 at any point?
No, I think that's a bit more of an American thing.
Go look it up. The number is 100 million. That's what they estimate the cost of those two missed races will be to Formula One's bottom line.
So as it goes to, like, if without those cancelled races, is it affecting the fun of it? I mean, watching the Ferraris going at each other was great fun. Like, there's no doubting. Yes, there might have been some, was that one a real overtake? Well, do you know what? It might not have been a quote-unquote real overtake, but he sure as hell had to then defend into turn one at China, which was incredibly interesting. Like, that was good racing. But it is also affected by your relative position, of course. Now, I think Lewis Hamilton, who is an incredibly popular Formula One driver, has a lot of sway in viewership. So there are some people who just aren't interested in watching Hamilton struggling in 7th, 8th, or 9th. And so it doesn't matter. These regulations could be, covering themselves in oil and driving through treacle on Rainbow Road. But if Hamilton's winning, there will be a certain portion of that fan base who'll go, I don't care, I'm watching it because Hamilton's winning. So I do have to be very careful of our own biases because, drivers I'm not a fan of are struggling and getting mad about the regulations, whereas I'm getting to watch Lewis fighting for podiums. And I think that does help you forgive like an awful lot, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
If you look then at what George Russell has said, and
nice. You are such a great reporter, Jono. Yes, let's do that story.
Well, I think let's go into this because it kind of relates to what you said in the sense that, well, Max Verstappen's not winning as much as well. So his viewership down because he's not up there at the top of the grid. I don't know. I was just watching before the podcast him racing at the Nürburgring. Now, all I'm going to say is I don't know if he's racing like semi-pros or accountants or something, but I watched him pass somebody on pit entry. So there is so much like lack of Verstappen at the top of F1 racing for wins that we have to watch him passing amateurs into pit entry. And I don't know what's happening to the sport. Go ahead.
It's a mix. Just so you know, that VLN series, it's more accessible than Formula One, for example. But the major 24-hour race that they're building up to, I don't think that's happened yet. That will have a much higher standard. And leading up to that the 24-hour race, these smaller races will be filled with a smattering of professionals who are making sure they're up to speed for the 24-hour. But in general, it's a good mix. I think there was one race he did where his team was the only team of professional full-time drivers.
Well, that's it. Yes. Well, back to what George Russell said, and this is perfect because George Russell and Max Verstappen, this is like watching two people with perfect offense and perfect defense argue with each other. And Russell does it really well through the media. And I think he kind of knows how to play that political game. I think we know that now from George Russell. He knows how to
100%.
throw shade at Max Verstappen through the media. And he's kind of said, quote, like, Verstappen wouldn't have the same complaints about the regs if he was winning. I know we've discussed this, and I think Max was talking about these regs 2-3 years ago. That's been proven on record that he said the same thing when he wasn't winning. I think Verstappen's at a point now that I think he's now going to move on from talking about how bad the regs are.
It's starting to hurt him, yeah.
Yes, it's hurting his reputation.
what I love about George more than anything else, because I want to get into some of the actual words that he said.
Oh, yes, say them, say them.
He's not just making a point about Max and winning. He goes on to defend Max in a way that actually makes it seem worse. And that is a real talent. You have to be really good. So he was comparing Max's current journey to his journey in the previous rule set. It's just part and parcel of F1. I didn't enjoy driving the 22 car when it was porpoising, killing everyone's backs. The cars were big and heavy. The high-speed corners, it wasn't very pleasant to drive. And this is your quote, he didn't have the same complaints. Now the complaints he has currently are different to the complaints of Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren because we're at the front, and this is only natural. And you do understand and recognize the frustration. This is the genius touch to me. He's achieved what most drivers dream of, which is winning a championship. I guess you get to a point in life where there's not much more for him to achieve in F1. He's ticked all the boxes. Oh, just like, stick that knife right in deep, you know? And you know, Max is meantime like, no, it's not where I am on the grid. It's literally, I just have no fun driving the car, which in a very narrow sense, I think is probably quite true.
Yeah. I would also play this like George, Matt, where, look, personally, like as Jono's opinion, which I don't know how much value it has, but I would say that I agree that Max is not complaining about the regs because he's not winning, personally. But if I'm in George Russell's position, I do exactly what he says. Well, look at him. Look, he's not winning, so he's complaining about it, even though deep down I know he's probably actually hates the regs. But you play that political game to get that upper hand and make Max's life misery and that competitive advantage and the whole mental side of things. George is a politician.
Oh, yeah. And he's so skilled at doing that. But I'm just going to bring you, do you remember when we went to Houston, Spanners?
I've slept since then.
And we met the not entirely former world champion.
Oh, Jenson Button. And he yelled at me for calling him the former world champion. He's like, no, I'm for the forever world champion.
And he was sort of right about that. But he got asked a question about the 2009 about driving the Brawn.
Was it off?
And he said
it was on the on record one, chats.
I believe it was the one when he was talking to not us, but somebody else. We were in the room.
Oh, right.
Got recorded at any rate. But he just said that it wasn't he said it wasn't really a particularly fun car to drive.
Oh, the Brawn.
He won a championship with it. Yeah. And I think you have to understand, like as a musician, like sometimes I get paid to play music, people like it, but it's not a lot of fun for me personally, but also like, that's my job. Like I have to do it.
Oh, like talking to Jono.
I stupidly thought that was a great idea when I was like, 18. Ooh, I'll be a musician. What a clever idea. And here I am now. And I think the drivers, a lot of them are also in a place as a performer where suddenly their ability to drive a car, they look silly. The car is doing things. They don't understand how it works yet. And they're doing it on TV in front of all of these people. They have these massive followings. It's uncomfortable to be in front of a lot of people and really, have awkward things happen like that.
But then, Matt, Verstappen insists his dislike of the current engine formula is rooted in what he believes F1 should be.
Right.
And that his competitive desire comes second to his personal enjoyment. I don't know about that. I think, like Jensen said, if you're winning, I think you stick with the sport, you do what you got to do. And I think it's getting to a point, like we said, where I think Max has said what he needs to say, and there's no issue with that whatsoever. Miami onwards, I think it's now time to focus on the job. I think quitting the sport as well, because of the regs, that can't be a good look, reputation-wise.
No. If he goes, these regs suck, and I'm only finishing P7 and I quit, I mean, that's not Rosberg level. He's done more than Rosberg, but it's... it's in we're talking in those terms where we go, actually, and I would be sad because it's not just about winning. As a Hamilton fan, we had the 2007 heartbreak. We then had all the drama around 2008, and then it was into a desert for success. He was still winning races. Arguably, 2010 was technically possible. Could have won that one.
Damn,
2012,
Michael.
2012. I don't know. In my head, I think, well, the engine failures let him down. But then again, I kind of
Yeah.
like, this is a complete diversion. But I go, well, actually, that engine performance wasn't real because it just wasn't reliable enough to deliver results. But you do get these deserts, and so as Lewis Hamilton fans, we know what he's like during those times where it's not going great. And so
Yeah.
since Verstappen's first title, not really had that for Verstappen. And I think as a fans, like it is a different challenge when you don't have a championship winning car. And let's see what Verstappen's like in the midfield while you wait for the cycle to come around again, because Red Bull will produce a title winning car again at some point. That odds, form suggests.
It is fun watching the character growth of your favorite drivers too. And like you mentioned, like with Verstappen, we're learning this as he goes into his late 20s, into his early 30s. Like Hamilton, the best part of watching him grow was you watched that 2011 season and said, okay, now he's learnt how not to get into unnecessary crashes with Felipe Massa, which happened a million times.
Yes, it did.
Yes, if you remember that.
Massa, yeah, I remember that.
And then when those Pirelli tires came in, like all Lewis Hamilton was known for in his first 3-4 years is this guy can't manage brakes, he can't manage tires, he's overly aggressive.
They called him he's a car breaker. He's a car breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he figured that out and he became a tire whisperer towards the end of his career and so on and so on. And so I think now what we're learning with Verstappen is I think we found a more reasonable Verstappen racecraft wise. You had the 2021 version, which was on the edge of the rules, and you still see glimpses of that here and there, but the older he gets more rational and he doesn't do that as much. Now you're seeing a character challenge for Max as well. You now have gone from dominance back to the midfield. You know better. You know that you can win and do better. Now, what do you do in terms of managing this, Matt, kind of political wise as a person? I know he's got a voice in the sport, but I think
he's good at using it
now.
He's good at using his voice in the sport. He always has been.
Rule number one is ask yourself, is he saying this for Max or is he saying this to get his team an advantage?
I think it's a mix.
Because every driver will be saying things to get their team an advantage. I'm not saying this is a Max specific thing, but he does have a very particularly loud and vocal fan base. And for sure, he would leverage that to get an advantage for himself because that's just the nature of the kind of competitor he is. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think most drivers probably would. But as a fan, you just look at it and you say, well, how many races have we had? Oh, we had 3 races. Think about 2014, how long, it took almost a whole season for the Renault-powered cars to even look vaguely appropriate. And then yet a year or two later, they were smashing records everywhere because the thing was really genius, the power unit. But it had been so polarized at that point. People complained about the noise, Bernie complained about the speed. And then there you go. Oh, let's give them all new aerodynamics that led us down this dark path of, dirtier air. We have to have more intervention. And then you've got like Singapore where they're like, oh yeah, well, I'm 12 seconds. You have to have a 12-second gap or you're in somebody's dirty air when you start your lap.
It? Pretty much 8 seconds, wasn't it? Because of the walls.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
And so I will at least applaud the people directly in charge of the rules right now for saying, hey, you know what? Let's have a couple of races. Let's sit down and have a grown-up chat and let's see what we can do. But also we just have to say, look, this is the first year we changed both the aero regs and the power unit regs. Maybe we just need to give it a little time to cook.
Yeah. I'll pick up 2 things that each of you said. So you mentioned the Verstappen fan base. Man, those guys have caused me a lot of problems. Those guys. No, I'm just saying, like, personally, do I have a vendetta and grudge against the Verstappen fan base? Yup. Because they've come at me and, and I've gone back at them. But they are incredibly effective. Like, they are absolutely effective at making media, like literally changing how media outlets frame stories, because they are scared of the response of the massively strong, targeted response of the Verstappen fan base. So it's kind of like GG in a way, because like they've caused me a lot of stress, and I have not changed my opinions based on that. But I do know when I open my mouth to say I think Verstappen did a thing I don't agree with, I'm like, okay, here we go again. It's that Grand Theft Auto meme, isn't it? Walking down the alleyway. Here we go again. Let's go. So I do have to factor that in. And so, sometimes on a Monday morning, I look at my phone, I go, oh, geez. Someone shared something I've said in the wrong Reddit post. So yes, so just actually credit to the Verstappen fan base. Maybe we should do stuff like that more ourselves. Maybe the other fan bases just need to catch up. But Jono, you said that Russell is liking these because he's winning. Can I just caveat that slightly and go, he was winning. Russell was winning.
Ow.
He's
Well,
not currently winning.
Ooh.
You look at the 3 races so far, and so Australia, we deserve to win. China was
Unlucky.
Before I say this, let me compliment Antonelli. So then, what I say isn't seen as Antonelli hating it. All right? All
No.
Italians
I think we all caveated the China win a little. That's fine. It's fine.
Well, I think if he gets a clean banker lap in Q3 and doesn't have that issue with the car, he qualifies ahead, and that puts him in a great position throughout the whole race. He wins China. So you had that issue. Japan is a weird one because he was never supposed to win it because Antonelli had a poor start. Then the safety car was unlucky. So again, we've had 3 sample size. I still think George Russell has been good, but he's been mounted a challenge now. And so, look, I know we're not getting into that topic, but I just want to point out it's 3 races. Like, I think Antonelli is better than we thought, I think is what we summarize from this.
He's come out of the stalls, hasn't he? Fast. He's come out of the stalls fast. It's so good. This is my favorite story of 2026 is like, however much bad luck Russell has had, Antonelli's actual race pace looks mint.
It's been good
so far. It looks great. And that's the thing that a lot of the new drivers come in. You go, yeah, they can put a lap together, but can they put a race together? And Antonelli definitely can. So you go, whoa, this is gonna be good fun.
Now, if you roll the dice banners 10 times, which I love doing this, it's like Hamilton's 2012 season. You roll the dice 10 times, as you win it twice, maybe. Same with these first 3 races. If you roll the dice 10 times, there's situations where Russell wins all 3 races.
Yes.
But I think if you roll the dice 3 times, how many times does Antonelli win all 3 races? I don't think he had Australia at all.
A really good way of putting it. And when I gamble responsibly until the fun stops, when I gamble, which I do, when you look at those odds, I always think of it that way. Not what do I think will specifically happen or what do I want to happen? It's if this happened 100 times, or what is the most likely event? And if I think in my head, 8 times out of 10, Antonelli would win this race and Russell wins it, I don't really see that as a loss. Because if I stand by my analysis, I was still right to make the bet, even if I was wrong. So it's the correct way to ask that question. And I think the most reasonable conclusion so far is that in any scenario, yes, each of those could have won all 3 races, both of them. But there's more scenarios where Russell could have won all 3 races, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Like I would say 1 out of 10 times if you roll the dice, Antonelli wins the first 3 races. Whereas I think I can see Russell doing it 6 times.
3, 4, 5. Yeah.
I think way more. I think what you're seeing now is it's like last year's championship. Like you roll the dice, like Norris wins it, 8 times? Verstappen won, Piastri won. But it just seemed like we had a situation that was like the most odd of the 10 times we rolled the dice.
I rolled the dice 14 million times. How many did Verstappen win? 1.
But don't sleep on the fact that the cars are an unknown entity to the drivers and the engineers. Don't forget, they tried to help George out and actually wound up robbing him of like boost and letting him get easily overtaken. And the drivers are finding out. And this is why I think there's, I don't even want to call it ego. It's just natural humanness. Like if I get up on stage and I play something and I do a terrible job of it, it's like the worst feeling. And these drivers are out here used to being in absolute control. They've understood over a long period of time exactly how to put it on the edge. And now suddenly everything they do, they're getting wrong notes left, right, and center. It's got to be terrible, terrible feeling. And, you get descriptions of like, oh, well, I just had a little slip of oversteer and came off the throttle slightly. And suddenly I was in an entirely different mode that meant I was robbed. Okay, well, first of all, that sounds like a driver mistake. Thank you. Appreciate you owning up to that. And previously that didn't have the same penalty attached to it. Now it does. And you're learning about that. And your team is learning how to program all of the softwares that run the car to help you adjust to that. But it's a learning process and you're learning in front of millions and millions of people. Russell has been and Antonelli have both been affected by this. So to use it as an absolute judge of talent right now is also a bit of a stretch.
I think the most interesting thing out of all of this is that Russell said it at all. So I don't know what I've read these quotes. I've seen them online. I don't know where it was said. I don't know so for me, it's like no F1, desert, what do you call it? What are those balls that go across the desert? The
Tumbleweeds.
Tumbleweed, nothing. And then suddenly Russell, out of nowhere, Max is only complaining because he's a loser and he's crying. He wasn't crying in 2022. Like, where did that even come from? There's been no F1 for a long time.
I look, he didn't just call a press conference to say, "Hey, everybody, meet me at this time. I want to diss Max."
I've got something I need to get off my chest.
Yeah, it was, I believe, at the tire test because Mercedes and McLaren were at the Nürburgring. And they did a Pirelli tire test, which is standard. I think Ferrari did one a couple of weeks ago back.
They did the wet tire test at Fiorano the week before.
So he's not phoning Chris Medland and going, Chris, come to my house. No, I know Norwich is far and swampy and flat. And there's no trains. But just come here now. I've got something to say.
Which funny thing can I mention? At the tire test, Mercedes were seamless, did 170 laps, whatever they did. McLaren, on the other hand, had another technical issue with the car.
And Piastri as well. Is Piastri a car wrecker? What is Piastri doing
it's how he drives the car, clearly.
It's how he responds, how he is
Remember
in the
that?
garage.
It's how Lewis drives the car. That's why it breaks all the time.
But Piastri's car doesn't even get started. So, like, what is his warm-up routine that is wrecking that McLaren?
It was funny as well. Piastri's interview, he's like, well, we don't really gain much benefit from these tests, apart from getting seat position right and the basic necessities like that, which was, I found really funny. At the same time, I do think it was a valuable test for McLaren, because if you're ironing out these technical issues, which they've done the least amount of laps, as far as I'm aware, statistically, Matt, we talked about this a few weeks ago, and they have some serious problems with that car to sort out. So I think a very valuable tyre test for them.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how good McLaren is because, Piastri's managed to start one race and came P2.
And he could have won.
He could have been, he could have been, they could be sitting on a rocket ship. They just can't, they're going through the manual going, well, we pressed that button, the engine made sounds, and now what?
It maybe helps to remember that they're a customer team of Mercedes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And if you are a customer team, you're starting out about 8 to 12 months behind your manufacturer team that you're purchasing this engine from. So the fact that they're already performing at that level, broad brush, means that they will be fine. I would be more worried about Red Bull, but they're doing things to help themselves now that I think will rapidly bring them back into the fold. I do like with the tire test. I love that Piastri clearly hasn't made friends with his engineers yet, because I guarantee you everyone looking at just the basic telemetry of the car running would be saying, I beg to differ. Just my eyeballs glancing across this data as Pirelli hoovers it up is worthwhile. But also, I've talked to drivers who've done tire tests, and you do. I'm like, they don't tell you, but like you kind of know, right? When you interview them, and they're like, well, we sort of, like, you can tell, is that a soft compound or a medium? I mean, a medium compound or hard. Yeah, you know how grippy that tire is compared to what you're used to driving. And then that feedback can get put into your team history hopper.
Right. We're not going to talk about the rules. It talks about nothing but the rules for the first 35
We talked about
minutes.
a tire test, and I just want people to know I didn't even put this in the notes.
No, it's fine.
I love you. Thank you.
No, it's good. The notes are good. Matt, the notes are good. I appreciate you. I'm here if you need to talk. Okay? We're good, right?
Yeah. I'm saying I left the tire test out for this and yet we wound up talking about it anyway. I just think that's kind of cool.
Do we not all get our 2 cents, Spanners? I think everybody I spoke to in the F1 world has a solution to the regs. It's like that type of conversation at the moment. And it's, some of them are not bad. Like, do we go into what Domenicali is talking about? Like, what we expect in Miami in a week and a half?
And this is why I said, we've been talking about the regs. So I looked at the Domenicali comments. But we can do that. I just think, look, it's a new regulation set. There's a little bit of chaos going on right now. And various people are happy. Various people are up in arms. And you've got Russell coming out with statements like that. You've got, like, Norris going, yeah, I know Hamilton says it was real racing, but, like, he's wrong. Like, bro's old. What does he know? We've got the AI comments about, stuff. And, Brundle, Martin Brundle, who's very, he's a company man. Obviously, his career is very much based. He's got to be responsible with what he says. And, he's coming out against the computer says overtake stuff as well. So, there's definitely things to complain about. But also, like, it's a massive shakeup. And I just want to end, before we go into the Domenicali thing, by going, the people I know that aren't F1 nerds like us. So people who I know and I'm friends with, and I say, by the way, I've got like, I'm on 2 F1 podcasts. You know, one's on Netflix. Do you want to check it out? And they're like, they're the sort of people who go, no, I like F1 and you, but not enough to watch you talk about F1. Those people message me on a Monday or a Sunday and go, that race was banging. Oh, like, I'm really enjoying it. Like Thunderbeast, who from Dad Hub,
Yep.
Matt, you know, say Thunderbeast from Tony from Dad Hub.
If you know, you know.
Our very good friend, you know, my old army buddy, and he's loving these races, and he keeps messaging me really positive stuff, going, "Oh, I had a great time watching that." You know, and my local friends are like, "Oh, good race yesterday," and like, yeah, but did you really understand? Actually, I'll have you know that most of that excitement was from discrepancies in battery power deployment, and they don't. A majority of people who are watching it are just having fun, and I remember being the only person I knew who was an F1 fan, and that is just not. It's not the case anymore. So there's a balance to be found between those two things.
And every overtake from 2011 onwards was because of an artificial wing that opened,
DRS,
and because of artificial tires that were designed to degrade on purpose so we could have better racing. So why is it an issue now that we have a battery that can artificially improve the racing as well?
Well,
once this sinks down into people,
why can't we have organic F1 cars plucked from trees? Why?
Yeah, let's go back to 1954. Let's bring those F1 cars back. Where drivers used to win by 2 laps, and those were great racing back then. Yeah, let's go to 2010,
Matt.
where drivers used to go a full race on a set of tires, Matt.
Right. So it's important to separate out reality from what the plan was. But if you look at what the plan was, basically the plan was to make DRS, but a lot harder. If you're a defending car, the car trying to pass you is already faster because they've caught you, right? So either your strategy is different or they've caught you. So you're either trying to mess up the car's strategy or you're just generally slower. But the differences in energy meant that you can't just blow past them into turn 1 and be gone. You have to be careful with it if you're the overtaker with your energy budget. And if you're the defender and you're also careful about it, and we did see this in the previous regulation set, you keep your energy for the right places, you can give that person a really good battle. And making it better with the change from with the change in the amount of downforce and smaller cars, suddenly we're seeing these fights happen in places that we've always wanted to see them. What's missing is the original plans got changed and nothing was put in place to fix the energy budget. And that's why we're seeing all this weird stuff now that people are complaining about. These regs are brilliant because you can't, it's like, you know,
whoa.
You get that guy who's just the same speed as you, and it's back and forth, and you get to the end, and it's like, yes, that is why I came here to race.
I was tolerating you until these regs are brilliant. I think take your meds, have a lie down.
The idea of them, the intent of them is brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. It's basically meant, it's like DRS, but a lot harder, and the defender has a better chance, which means you get more wheel-to-wheel, corner-to-corner action, which is what everyone asked for.
Jono, I'm tired. You yell at Matt.
Look, looking at Miami now and what Stefano Domenicali and Formula One and the FIA want to change with the sport. So you've got 2 major issues, I think, right now, is you've got the super clipping, which is not a good looking qualifying, and you've got the Behrman Colapinto situation where one car's regenning the battery or recharging it and another one's coming full pelt. Those are your 2 major issues, I think, with the sport that need to be solved urgently. How you do that, Matt, and everyone has these solutions, right, Spanners? Is like, I think, take away, at lift and coast, you can recharge at the full 350 kilowatts. At full throttle, you recharge at 250. I think if you make that 300, it'll detract or it will make it less appealing to have to lift and coast because you can charge full throttle. Matt, you can't really make the battery charge more because you don't want to overheat the battery. So it's all an ice game, right? It's about the petrol. You can't increase fuel flow. So I think what you should do then is, why not reduce the battery capacity? Remember, we're only 3 seconds a lap slower in qualifying in Melbourne compared to last year. We thought we were going to be 10 seconds slower. So if you reduce lap time and reduce the battery, you get rid of super clipping, get rid of these issues with Behrman and Colapinto. Now you might be 7 or 8 seconds a lap slower, but it's what we were expecting.
Let's just
So
get
that's
rid
what
of.
we should be aiming for.
Let's just get rid of Behrman and Colapinto, and it's all solved. That's what I kept hearing in my head as I was distracted by the Discord. Connor says, I really don't mind the pass and repass. I think it's part of multi-corner battles. Half of the Indy 500 is strategic positioning, and I think it's almost always a great race, and we see that in NASCAR as well. It's like, yeah. So Domenicali, who we will get onto now, his comments, I'll start with the thing that annoyed me a little bit, but he went, no. Oh, my camera's gone again. He went, oh, no, a pass is a pass. And you go, right, okay, but you know what we're saying. Not all these passes are equal at the moment. But Connor's point really is that you still have a total overtake. You know, there's still a net overtake. But let's get specifically into Domenicali's comments, though, Jono. Do you have them to hand?
Yeah. So he said, we're managing it the right way. No panic. Solid foundation, being ready to have different options. So this is in regards to the tweaks they're going to make to the regs in the next couple of weeks ahead of Miami, possibly. I think, Matt, these tweaks that are going to come in are not going to be drastic come the Miami Grand Prix in a week and a half. It might be smoothed out. You know, it might be Miami, Spain, Monaco, and so on and so on. So you might see a different thing at each weekend. He's also said 5 years ago, the manufacturers thought the only way to progress in being involved in motorsport was to be 50-50. What he means is 50% fuel, 50% electric. So the regs have to be improved, he admits, but the step change can't be so big, I think, is what Domenicali is aiming at here heading into the next race.
Well, and this is where I have the sad task of telling you that all of you out there who have solved this problem in your head, there's a whole lot of painful reality that probably means you're not right about what's going to happen or what could even begin to happen. And I myself don't know nearly enough to come up with, I can come up with some suggestions and ask people who know more than me. But realistically, I don't think you can't change the fuel flow. I don't think you can increase the ice right now. That could maybe be a next year project. The only thing you could do is increase or get rid of some of the restrictions, which I think might be the best thing you might be able to do is just get rid of a lot of the restrictions over what the teams can do. And the only other thing that might really help is reducing how much battery you can deploy back into the engine. Now, that does mean cars' top speeds will be slower, but it also means you can deploy power for a longer period of time, which means that the periods where you are doing the regen will be reduced on almost every track. And then you can also just let the teams get more clever about where and how they find energy. Because right now, I don't know how many energy loopholes have been found. We've seen some deployment loopholes that have been closed by the FIA. The ones we talked about last Sunday with Mercedes and Red Bull. Mm-hmm. But I don't know anyone being called up yet for like, oh, hey, you're getting energy here, and I'm not sure that's legal. So I think there's scope to move both directions, but they can't be big changes because the cars are already designed for this season and for this rule set. And the lead time, I was reading the guy who does the Mototech post, Matt Grant, who was head of F1 project for Cosworth last time they were in the sport. He's like, look, if I wanted a new crankshaft, they changed the chassis on me. I had crankshaft didn't balance anymore. 12 weeks for a new crankshaft. You aren't going to get those parts anytime soon, even if you do make those changes and tell the team, sure, redesign that combustion chamber to work with this extra fuel flow. Redesign every last thermal characteristic of the engine to work with the extra heat you're now producing, et cetera, and so on, all the way down the line. They're going to be tweaks because that's all they can be right now.
Domenicali also said, we can't be in a corner where manufacturers dictate the pace to the sport. I think what he means is, in terms of the regs and what they want and everything, which I think he's not saying that we shouldn't listen to the manufacturers. He's saying we can't let them control what we do. So I think what he's trying to aim at with this quote, the way I understand it, is he wants a collaboration. He wants everybody to agree on something. So, yes.
Well, no. This goes to the last interview I did with Tim Whittington, who was the he was a promoter for World Rallycross. He wasn't the promoter. He worked with the promoter of World Rallycross. And they had the best thing since sliced bread going. And then bang, one bad regs change and the whole thing fell apart. All the manufacturers left and everybody, that was it. Then the promoter left. It was a disaster. So I think I actually love this quote because what he's saying is we couldn't have the sport without manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at what's happened here, no MGUH, no front axle regen is here because of these manufacturers and their self-interest. We as a sport can't ever again be in a place where they can dictate that kind of an outcome that we know in advance isn't going to be good. We cannot be sure about it, but we knew very specifically a lot of problems that we have right now were going to happen years ago, and we couldn't do anything about it. So to me, this is like one of the best things I've really heard him say in a long time is like, we can't lose the manufacturers. Without the manufacturers, we don't have a sport. However, we can't let them run it because when we do, they turn into toddlers and just want candy for dinner all day long.
The thing I dislike is he says it's time to get cracking on the next regulations.
I said that was my title, but they're already talking about the next power unit regs.
But he did kind of say that it needs to be decided within this year. You know, right? Isn't that what he said? He said it needs to be decided by the end of 2026. And I think if you're going to rush the regs,
they're having these discussions now. Yeah.
And so
because that's the lead time.
But why rush it when it felt like this was not rushed a few years ago, but you've already kind of not got it wrong, but it certainly haven't got it right to start 2026. And so why then rush to get the next regs coming in? And knowing Domenicali, I don't know, I get the feeling from him that for whatever reason, he is not a fan of going full electric. I think he despises it. Now, I don't know if that's because of the exclusivity deal they have with Formula E and maybe he can't do that. So that's one of the issues. But he also, I believe, wants to see the reintroduction of like V10s on sustainable fuels. He's a very much sustainable fuel man. And as long as he's in charge of Formula One, I don't think we will see him be pro-electric or more 50% electric than we have now. It's only going to be less.
So it's interesting to me. I read his comments so differently to you.
Yeah.
But what I took from that fundamentally was it was an overreach to go 50-50 without the MGUH or front axle regen. Everybody admits that now. But more importantly, the world changed since everyone thought this was a good idea a lot. And so you have to start talking about it now because it takes that long to build a new engine, design it from scratch, build it, test it. All of that has a long cycle. These regs we have now started in 2020, 2021. So you have to have a 5-year cycle. That's the current length of these regulations. And what has come out of it is we like the lighter cars. So we want to design for that.
They want to make them even lighter. Yep.
And the even split with the electrification without an MGUH or front axle regen isn't a realistic target. And it's not something the manufacturers are going to be interested in now the way they were back in 2020 and 2021. So I actually see this as being a very realistic, let's look seriously at the landscape. Let's find out what people are interested in building. And let's make sure that we get rules that mean that we won't have this massive amount of polarization in our fan base, because that's something that everyone agrees we would rather not have.
No, of course. The other thing as well is they can always push the regs back. So if they get it not wrong, but they haven't sorted it out in time, they can say, hey, it's going to come into the 2031 season. A lot of people don't remember this, but the 2014 hybrids we had were supposed to come in 2013.
That's
and
correct.
I can't remember what year in 2010 or 11, but Formula One basically said, hey, we're not ready. We're going to push it back a year. And in my head going, ugh. Then we got that final Sebastian Vettel year for free, a world title. He should have had 3. Yes. Now, and they have that option. Should we move on to this Aduo thing? Like what, or do you have one more quick thing to say?
I do. And this is just, if you can give me like 30 seconds to be really pedantic. One of the things he said was more cylinders. And I just want to point out that
V10.
Koenigsegg, 600 horsepower, 3-cylinder, 2-liter engine they're talking about building, and the best engine of all time, the BMW 12/13 turbocharged 1.5-liter 4-cylinder engine that was measured at 1,065 horsepower, but they calculated it because they couldn't measure anything that strong up to 1,430 horsepower in qualifying trim. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be more cylinders, people.
Yeah.
In the old days, they used to just say, here's your displacement, build whatever you want. I would be okay with that too.
But that's what Domenicali loves. He wants, from what I understand from him the last 3-4 years, is he doesn't want electric. He wants V10s and he wants sustainable fuels. And he has said in the past on record that he thinks, well, we can't be virtue signaling. It seems like he's anti-electric. But maybe that's just me speculating. But as long as he's in charge of Formula One, I don't think we go the electric route. But anyway, I was going to mention the Aduo stuff, because there's all these engine upgrades and stuff coming in the next week and a half, right, Matt? The funny part is we don't actually know. Well, do you want to explain how this works? Because I don't think we actually know how the FIA are going to determine who's quick or not.
All right, and this is why this is my favorite topic of all, because here's the thing. The rules are pretty simple. The FIA has your engines. They has them on the dyno. They have your telemetry. And they have a formula, a very super secret formula that nobody but them know. And based on this formula, they are going to calculate for the internal combustion engine. I didn't check this. I got this from an article. So if I'm wrong about this, apologies. I meant to go back and check, but then I got hung up looking other stuff up instead. And if you were 2% off what they judge to be the top performing engine based on their magic formula, then you get an upgrade, basically an upgrade token. Let's just call it that for simplicity's sake. If you're 4% off, you get 2. And there'll be one period after Miami, and there's 2 more after that this season where you can qualify for additional tokens if you're still that far behind. Now, as you might imagine, this has created some consternation about who's got the best power unit. And normally you'd think they'd want to say, oh, mine's best. But oh boy, everyone is opening that door for everybody else and nobody wants to walk through it right now. So we have scenarios that are from exactly what you'd expect. Mercedes is the best. Red Bull is close enough. They probably won't get anything. And Ferrari and the rest will definitely get something. We just don't know what.
I heard the Red Bull one's actually the best.
Yeah, and Mercedes might actually get tokens. They're so far behind Red Bull.
That's crazy.
Legitimately, I have seen that in print, people. It is amazing to me. Take away their ability to know and control things, and they panic. They panic like sheep they are.
And it's funny because, I found the report funny that apparently Red Bull's got the quickest power unit. Come on. Have you seen that Mercedes rocket ship? That's I don't believe that.
Do you know where that comes from?
From you?
Toto Wolff in testing. You remember when they were super fast in testing? And he said, oh no, they've definitely got the best power unit. Not nearly as good as ours, which we've strapped sandbags
No, but
to.
this report is newer than that, isn't it? Even Hadjar said,
this is like,
Hadjar said, power unit's fine, chassis dirt.
Right. Yeah. But this is it. Everybody is looking at telemetry, but all the telemetry we can look at also involves the battery and the chassis. So how much of that is really the internal combustion versus the whole package? That's what, and nobody knows how the FIA is really measuring this, except for the FIA. It's just delicious fun. I can't wait to see what they come up with.
Well, 100%. And that's the interesting part is if you go and try and search for this right now and go to the FIA rule books, because I know people would be interested in doing that. That's sarcasm. And you can't find how they're going to do this. So someone in the FIA is sitting there, and I don't know if they've revealed the person, because if the FIA reveal the person, I'm Toto Wolff and I go, hey, do you want to have a little coffee catch up? Let's have a discussion about what you're looking at, because they want to stop, Matt, like you were talking about, teams like a Ferrari deliberately tanking, because
we've
this
seen
comparison,
balance of performance. We've seen how teams will go to a pretty extraordinary length To where even some teams will be like, oh, no, they've specifically turned their power units down to not look good.
And the FIA will catch on to that if teams have done that, because there are accusations. I don't know where I heard this from a week or two ago, that Ferrari have tried to do that in a deliberate sense to try and get an advantage later on in the year.
It's not a terrible idea, is it? Like, settle for being the second best car for 3 races so that you can get your a duo. How are we saying it? A
brilliant.
duo.
Just additional development opportunities.
No.
We need worst acronym.
I like the duo, because duo is like a musical term.
Aduo sounds cool. I'm going with aduo. Can I add
to
that this,
actually?
The comparison to this, to anyone who watches sports, is this is like when a team is doing really poorly and you give them compensation draft picks. Yeah. And you're like, okay, you've sucked for 4 years. Here's an extra first-round pick, and you get this really young gun. This is the same thing for your engine. But, Matt, they can't develop the battery. As far as my understanding, this is only for the petrol component, the
Correct.
fuel.
Oh, that's an important... Yeah, right, okay, fair enough. But the teams know how to do that. So, like, if you say, right, you have got extra upgrade capacity, all the teams... it's much more natural to them to be able to develop the ice, the push, pop, bang part than the Star Wars part. So, yeah.
Yeah, and this is Ferrari's very convinced they're like, we're 15 to, which, by the way, because it's only the ice side, it's a pretty small amount. It's like 10 horsepower for 2% and 21 horsepower for 4%. So it's not huge numbers, relatively speaking.
I don't want to risk going over an hour, because we've maintained that record of never, ever going over an hour. And it's been, 12 years of missed Apex? And we have never once.
Ever.
And we never will. This is like our religion. So there have been reports from the photographer guy, Kim Illman. Yeah. Who he's basically done some snooping around. And he reckons from his attempts to book hotels in the Middle East towards the end of the season, that he has gleaned basically that Saudi Arabia will take the current spot that Abu Dhabi has, and then Abu Dhabi will be the week afterwards, on the 13th, as the season finale. So we will have 4 races in 5 weeks, if that's correct. So not quite the quadruple header that I was fearing, but 4 races in 5 weeks. And the final race will be 12 days before Christmas. That is like the off season in F1 has shrunk beyond recognition. So what do we think? If he's right, that's a pretty good bit of investigative journalism.
The best part about this, Spanners, is we were talking on this podcast a few weeks ago, and we made sure everybody listening, we had to clarify, Formula One never said they cancelled the 2 Middle Eastern races. Oh. And now we're being proven more and more correct. I said maybe I made 1% chance of them happening. And this is interesting from Kim Illman, because he talked about, what was it, Matt? He talked about like hotel bookings. I didn't really understand the post.
Whatever, he got a sniff and he went on hotels.com and tried to book the usual team hotel for Jeddah. And then like a week later, it was booked solid at that date.
But Matt, we've had experience with that, trying to book hotels around NASCAR events.
Yes, we have.
There is a cutoff point.
I was going to say that's not a bad shout, but it's not a guarantee either. And I've seen reports in industry journals that, in fact, Formula One is not really considering replacing either of those races. I think Aramco very much wants it to happen, which might be why those rumors are circulating, because that's what you do if you want a thing to happen. Do you want Red Bull to be investigated for flexi wings? You should probably go complain about it to the press. But will it really happen? I don't know. You're throwing a lot of schedules out of whack. Teams are already losing a lot of money. And right now you've got 2 less races to make spare parts for. Yeah. Oh,
well, how much money are they losing? From the logistical side you're talking about?
From commercial contracts, I'm sure they are. Yeah. I know other industry people who have commercial minimums they have to meet.
Oh, were we talking about Saudi losing money?
We're talking about teams losing
Other
money.
teams.
Yeah. Right now they're paying people and they're not racing, which means their sponsors aren't getting what they paid for. And I don't know the numbers in anybody's contracts, but broadly speaking, if you gave me 2 less performances a year, I wouldn't make as much money if I was being paid per performance, which is probably about how those things work out between the teams and the brands, I guess. And, and then if you do an extra race, you also have to bring spare parts. So right now, at least they can save a little money not making 2 races worth of spare parts, which you think is probably inexpensive until have a Bearman style crash. And then that's a whole new car. And they're also on the hook for paying their people right now with with lots going on at the factory. But again, no racing.
Well, speaking of paying people, Red Bull and we'll end on this, Red Bull are saving a lot of money right now because nobody's working for them. This is a big bleed, man. And this really, politically, the Red Bull setup is more like, the post, the AD Roman Empire than any other team. There's factions. There's always an emperor, and then, oh no, that general's got 3 legions, and they're marching towards Milton Keynes. Well, what's going to happen now? And we had a big ousting. The ultimate pretender to the imperial throne, Christian Horner, eventually did get usurped and exiled. And then in that power vacuum, there are now big prominent figures going, well, is this the empire that I was signed on to? I am getting offers from elsewhere. So it was in a sweet comment from Max Verstappen. He said, Lambiasi came to him and said, hey, look, I know we're blood bonded. I know as teens in the woods, we each sliced a finger and we touched our fingers together and swore blood brothers forever. But look at these zeros on this offer from McLaren. And Verstappen has gone I gave him my blessing and went, you would be absolutely crazy not to take that. I don't think that happens with Christian Horner still there, for example. That's probably a factor as well. So, Red Bull are leaking staff, and there's even rumors about their head of strategy, Hannah Schmitz, being poached by Ferrari, which, Ferrari, if that's a fake rumor and you weren't thinking of doing that, please consider doing that. That's...
Find the person whose job it was to think of it, fire them, hire somebody else.
Fire someone else. Ask Hannah Smits who to hire for that job, and then hire Hannah as well. So it definitely is not, the thing to say is rats leaving a sinking ship, but it could just be such a fundamental change that it's just changing people's life choices, life decisions, and they do have a problem now. And as you informed me earlier today, they are now actively, basically looking at VCarb and going, nice staff roster you got there. Would be a shame if someone were to milk it.
It's really VCarb is like the cow that wants to be dinner in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, don't.
Exactly.
I still, honestly, that haunts me, that.
Really?
It's the second book of the 5-part trilogy, isn't it? Where they go to the restaurant at the end of the universe and there is a cow that is bred to want to be eaten. And now I will think of that every time I think of VCarb. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry to spoil that for you. They have conveniently harvested senior management from Visa, Cash App, which, to be fair, if you're going to own another whole team that's a junior team, you might as well use it for developing not just driver talent, but also engineering talent. But what interested me most about this is this guy, Andrea Landi, I would guess. That looks like maybe an Italian name. He reportedly was the guy in charge of vehicle design. And it's notable that the drivers who've driven the RB the last 2 years have said it's a particularly easy, fun car to play around with. Well, he's going to be at Red Bull now. So if you're someone who's going how could Red Bull have continued to produce a really spiky car that's impossible to drive? This guy might have the solution to it. So if I'm a Red Bull person, I'm actually really excited about this move. But I'll tell you what has a lot of people angry. because they own both teams, there's no gardening leave.
Ooh,
And
that's a
that
biggie.
is, that's almost like Haas
big.
Ferrari levels of just shenanigans, if you ask me.
It is great for them because now, like, you look at Ferrari's situation trying to get Lewis Hamilton's new engineer, Cedric Michel Grosjean. What a great name. One of the best names, I think, in F1.
And that's been confirmed, hasn't it? By the way, he still hasn't responded to my LinkedIn message.
I remember you did that live as well. Yeah.
I'll double check that there's been no response.
Well, chase him up and say, hey, sorry, I'm insulted by your lack of response, but I'd like to know. Look, that situation there is like Lewis Hamilton should have had his engineer sorted pre-season. And that's where Red Bull and Racing Bulls, like you mentioned, Matt, don't have to get into this situation because of the lack of gardening leave. Not to go on a sister team rant, but how good is it for Formula One when you've got 11 teams and one of the teams is designed not to win? That's not good. I don't find that interesting. I would rather have a team. Now, I'm not saying that Racing Bulls or AlphaTauri or Toro Rosso have never won a race. We've seen them win races, but what I'm saying is they are funded so they don't beat Red Bull, even though it's happened a couple of times.
So I saw a Liam Lawson interview where he was talking about some decisions he made while racing Sergio Perez. And so basically he raced Perez really hard. And in that situation, he found himself on pace with Perez. And he went, am I supposed to, like, what's the decision here? Do I play the team corporate game and therefore don't challenge him? Or do they want me to show that I'm a thruster and that I want it and that I want that seat? And he went for it. And then he goes, oh yeah, no, that was the wrong decision. And they made it absolutely clear that that was the wrong decision. I can't remember what podcast that was, but I will say, if anyone knows, let me know, because the host of that podcast is at a place where I regularly hang out. And I was like, who is that guy? And then I saw him on that interview with Lawson. I went, oh, that's him. Because I nearly went up to him and said, I know you from a podcast, but I didn't. So help me out if you know that guy. But that was quite interesting for Lawson to make that comment while still employed at VCarb. That's the sort of thing that you would think, I will hear that, after his career or when he goes to Mercedes or something like that. Yeah, but he out and out went, nope, they did not want me to fight Perez. They were not happy with that at all.
And he continues to be really annoying with his redemption arc because we had just decided we hated him.
Yeah, and then he's nice and personable and fun. Ugh, stupid
and then he
Lawson.
says things like, at the end of the day, there's always going to be things that we, the drivers, want from the car. And we're going to probably, as racing drivers, we kind of complain about everything, literally. So I think that'll never change. It just like, come on, stop. I just decided you were terrible. And now you're like winning my heart back.
Do you remember, it's like in The Simpsons when we find out that Flanders is jacked and Homer's going, stupid, sexy Flanders. And it's like that, ugh, stupid, likable Lawson.
Exactly. Oh, man.
The other thing as well is, you said, Matt, before that Landy or allegedly, sorry. Now, that's a good point. He might go to Red Bull where the car is not as easy to drive, you would say, than the Racing Bulls. Is that what you said earlier? Because why isn't this car easier to drive? Like, look at what Hadjar's doing compared to what Lawson and Tsunoda are able to do. The car is easier to drive. Not easier than the Racing Bulls is maybe what you mean.
My poor my sweet summer child, Jono.
Oh, here we go.
Tell him, old man.
How am I correct?
So,
Tell me how I'm
Matt
correct.
is going to sit by a tree and you are going to listen and drink lemonade, young man.
Yeah, and this is going to take me about 1,000 years. No, it won't really. Remind me, is this the car that can win races like the one last year could?
No.
Okay, so there you go. It has a ceiling, and Max can get to the ceiling, and Hadjar can get to the ceiling. When you raise the ceiling, then you learn a little bit more.
So
about what they can
we
both
mean
do.
it. We mean it in different ways. Sorry to cut you off. Like, if you put Hadjar in last year's Red Bull, and Hadjar's a gun, no question about it, he's a gun.
Yeah,
I think he's still P15, P16. Now, when Tsunoda, I don't know why this has happened with Yuki Tsunoda. It's been swept under the rug in the sport. But for 2 races last year, he was on par with Hadjar. I know Hadjar was a rookie, but Yuki Tsunoda, everybody was questioning, why didn't they put him in that Red Bull? He's great. And then by the end of the season, everyone said, he's terrible. He shouldn't be in Formula One. No, he was in the wrong car, and I think he deserves a second shot, and that's been a big farce. Alex Albon's proven himself again. Pierre Gasly's proven himself again. Hadjar's proven himself in a good Red Bull. All I'm trying to say is to go back to what I was pointing out was I think this Red Bull is a better situation than last year. I know it's not as easy a car to drive maybe as the Racing Bulls is now, but it's still all right. Still P7, P8. It's just not quick, in my opinion. I know Hadjar said it's drivability, but I don't believe they're the quickest power unit. I don't care what you're looking at in that data. I know some people say that, but I don't think they are. It has to be the Merc.
That's fair. What I would say is I will actually take your point. If you're doing a comparison from this year to last year, it's like apples and kumquats. There's just no, you can't make a valid comparison that way. The reason we don't see the only thing you can make with regards to Hadjar is that the car itself is so slow that we're a driver to have it in his favor. And remember, there were times where Perez had the Red Bull in his favor, and he was absolutely on par with Max.
Oh, that was such a fleeting joy. And it just slipped from my fingers. I held it in my hands, and it was beautiful and sweet. A baby to grow into a warrior, and it just crumbled away.
Piece by piece, they took it away from you and handed it to Max. This is what happens in Formula One.
They fed Max the baby.
But as that car gains performance, and I think that it will, because I do believe they've done a reasonable job, but as they find more performance in it, we'll begin to see like where is Hadjar's level relative to Max's. But bringing Landi, I'm going with Landi. If I'm wrong, apologies. You can send me an email and we'll have an interview. You can tell me all about how to.
I'm going for Londai. That's what I'm going for.
And
I guess.
Yeah, I think he will design a car that works again. Because remember, Max wasn't really super happy with the car last year either. I think he'll be able to make a more benevolent car that they can get more out of. And that will be good for the team as a whole.
I know Max complained after Barcelona. He went, I hit Russell really like sharp on the backside, and he didn't fly off. His car survived completely.
Yeah, I don't know. iRacing, he would have been punted all the way through the infield.
I've got to work on my Dutch. But it didn't have the word sausage or windmill in it.
Let me pre-write my article for Miami. English podcaster kicked out of Max Verstappen press conference.
Right, the show's over. The time has come. It's over. So stop listening. Don't complain about anything that happens now. Jono, where can people find you? You briefly went, oh, mate, I'm going to be a TikTok star, mate. Yeah, I'm going to get spiders and webs, and I'm going to be a TikTok star. Is that still happening or no?
Yeah, it is. There's stuff coming out when TikTok doesn't ghost ban. Like, a quick rant about TikTok is like, I put in so much effort into a post, and it got, for some reason, just got like one view. Like, it just was not pushed out, and the one view was me refreshing. And then I steal content from you, Spanners. I message you and say, hey, can I steal this from Missed Apex and put it up?
Or I'll just send you a clip.
100,000 views.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. I don't understand the app.
It's mad like that. It's mad. Also,
so give me a follow.
Also, F1 isn't like relevant in the algorithm right now. So yeah, but go and follow Jono on all his social media. We will put that in the show notes. He has Chris Stevens level of bad handles, so we're not even going to say them out loud. Just go to the show notes and click on where say follow Jonathan Simon here.
Yes, it's not a Missed Apex podcast without two things: making fun of my social handles.
I'm trying to teach you. I am trying to help you learn.
And the other one is mentioning how it's 7 a.m. and I woke up at 4 a.m. for this as well.
I think you're a hero for that. You're a hero for that. I love
F1.
I know Jono will always say, oh mate, I don't care what time it is. You wake me up and blah. And then like we wake him up and his eyes are like swollen. They look like plums sat in the front of his face. But you're an absolute trooper. And I do have a chart now of everybody's relative time zones. So I do try to schedule it, but I did not know that the recent time zone to British summertime and then you guys going the other way, I didn't realize how bad that hammered you for timing. Yeah. Sorry.
The plums in my eyes, actually, it's just because I'm ethnic. That's not because I'm tired.
Oh, yeah. I have similar things with my ears, my height, my amazing calves, and my ability to do incredible karaoke. People are like, what ethnicity is that? I'm like, come on. It's obvious. It's very, very obvious. Matt Trumpets. Very glad people came out to see you at your Ska band. And
Yes.
I have heard you say that, and I don't know what I was expecting, but I saw a photo that someone posted in our Patreon Discord of you there, and I'm like, oh, that looks like such a cool setup. Like, I know you're a proper musician. I know. I just never visualized it. And then I saw that.
I understand.
I was like, oh, man,
it.
I want to go and see Matt's ska band.
Yes. Well, hopefully that will happen at some point, because I would love to have you around for one of those. We do have a busier schedule. We do have a new single out on Spotify. Links in there. And geez, what else was I going to say? Go listen to the Tim Whittington interview. It's a cautionary tale about regulations in really popular motorsports.
That's a good point.
The latest one we dropped.
I haven't seen that one yet. So yeah, at the top of the show notes, let's have the solo shows that you and Matt have done, and also look forward to what I'm sure will be an incredible Jonathan Simon interview that he teased at the beginning of the show. Plus, we're going to have a live watch along on Wednesday evening. So find a way. If you've got F1 TV, that's easy. It's available on there. I think that's right, isn't it, Matt? That's where I was watching it. F1 TV. The monthly subscription from the UK was like £2.50 a month, which seems reasonable for those archives. Like, I've been sat watching. I've had it on in the background. I've just had Grand Prix on in the background. So that's quite good value. But I'm sure if you can find a different inventive way to watch that, then, go ahead. Just don't tell me. Just don't tell me. So we're going to do that Wednesday night with you, me, and Catman. Jono's, I think, content may come out the Wednesday afterwards or leading up to Miami. And then on Sunday, we'll come back with a news show as well. So yeah, follow me. I'm the best one. Instagram, TikTok. Follow basically anything you're on. Look for Spanners Ready or Missed Apex F1. I have all my links in the show notes below as well. Thank you to everybody who has continued supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/Missed Apex. That is the lifeblood. Like, we do get ad money, but without the patrons, I think we'd have to seriously rethink what we're doing. Patreon.com/Missed Apex. The minimum tier now is $8. We've taken a long time to change that. But yeah, so in the UK, that's like a $5. If you want to support an independent creator and help us compete in the charts, when I look on a Monday morning, we're in the top 5 of all F1 podcasts for the race review episode in those charts. And that's incredible. That is down to the patrons. And we are by far the top Patreon supported F1 podcast. So you guys have basically decided we would like Missed Apex to be a professional organization and to do this as a job. You funded us in the way that production companies fund other F1 podcasts. Thank you. I love you. We're here if you need to talk. The Discord is the most fantastic place to hang out in the F1 space. I promise you that. But it's more, I think, about voting with your wallet to say, yeah, my £5, my $8 is worth having the podcast space not entirely dominated by corporations. Until we see you next, work hard, be kind, and have fun. This was Missed Apex Podcast. I think my new seating position was too relaxed.
But only so much. You drop a little 95% of fun, then you have to not have any fun.
I'm sure what Matt said was really entertaining. However, he's on the same fader as the titles, so I had to choose. So I had to choose, Matt. I have to choose. Like, do I faded it down? I tried to find the balance where your voice came through, but no. In the end, I just ruined them both. So we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna do the spinny car, and I'm gonna mute. So bye.
So I'll talk to you in the morning.
Spinny car and then mute. Like, what's going on, man? Oh, Johnny, you're making me get up like early. I'm producing for you at 8 a.m. Like, do you know how much I don't like being up at 8 a.m.? I really don't like it.
Brutal.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to talk, sorry.
Oh, well, we may as well just hang out now. We're all just talking, aren't we?
I mean,
stream now.
we just add this to the pre-show.
Yeah.
We're just doing the pre-show now again.
Just let it run. Like,
yeah. Whatever. We'll just tomorrow. Guys, come back tomorrow. We'll still be here.
Shall I mute and do my thing, and then we'll do the admin, Jono?
Okay.
If you want to do it like that. Okay, I'm going to mute now.